In the second inning last night, Hawk had thoughts for the media, for fans, for peeps on Fox Sports Net.
Anybody who tells you they know the game of baseball is kidding you and mostly themselves. There's nobody that knows this game of baseball. That's the beauty of the game. That is the beauty of the game. I don't care how long you're in it.
No, this is definitely, it's fun to try and figure it out, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You can second guess, you can first guess. All right, how long have you been in the game professionally?
24 years.
Okay, I've been in 45 years. Total, kind of minor league. And you've been in 24? So we've been in this game almost 70 years, okay? And we still have so much more to learn. Even when we die, it's just going to be a scratch on the surface.
Oh, it's always so much fun to sit up here and then wait and see what next thing in this game is going to surprise us.
You know, I get a kick out of listening to guys who, especially if they never played the game. I mean, that's just another thing. But guys say, well, I've been watching this game. I've been watching the Sox or the Cubs, you know, for 40 years, and I know a little something about the game. They don't know a damn thing about the game. They don't know nothing about the game. They can have a view just like everybody else and an opinion. But as far as knowing something about it, nada.
Well, I'll let you know. I'm a firm believer that you can teach baseball, you can talk about baseball, you can make you understand the game. At the major league level, as that is fouled off into the seats, the right side. But the only thing that I truly believe is if you're going to describe what takes place out on the major league field and the thought process, is that you had to be out there on it. If you've been out there on it, you know exactly what runs through the mind of these players. If you haven't been, you don't.
They like playing just a little bit deep at third.
Everything after that is hearsay. You may have talked to guys and they can tell you, but you cannot say that you know unless you've done it. Just like I can't say that I know something that I've never done. I can say people told me about it, but that's it.
Yeah, you can surmise and offer some conjecture, but no.
There they are.
Wow, that's special.
All right, everybody with your middle fingers up, let's go to it.
3-1-2.
Everybody for you right here. That's
644 6767. You don't know nothing.
You don't nothing. Nada.
Nada.
That's the last time you get a warm greeting.
You know,
Terry, that'd be different.
You know, I get a kick out of listening to guys who, especially if they never played the game. I mean, that's just another thing.
That's only 99.9% of the world, right?
The Sox or the Cubs, you know, for
He's talking about
years.
playing the major league
game. I know a
game.
little something about the game. They don't know a damn thing about the game.
He's looking at...
Wow. DJ was trying to soft shoe it there.
He started to, but then when Hawk goes off, then you find out the real DJ is lurking under the surface to tell you you're all dopes, and they're the only two that know. Well, actually, they don't know anything either, so yeah, it's interesting.
Hey, you can watch a game for 40 years and not know a damn thing.
Right.
What kind of statement is that?
Uh-oh.
I mean, really?
I don't know. You know, if it's somebody, if it's a franchise that actually has some interest, if there's an interest level in the team, if it's the Yankee, if it's Charlie Steiner doing that, although Charlie Steiner would not do that. He'd cough and he'd choke and he'd occasional spit.
I mean, if you're the Sox PR people, you're spinning when you hear that because you're basically telling your fans you're a bunch of dopes and you don't know anything.
Yep.
Well, why would I come out then? If I'm so stupid to sit there and watch a game with season tickets or come out there 6, 8, 10 times a year, why am I wasting my time? I'm just a big dumb dope sitting in the seats.
I'm
paying,
just dopified.
Yeah. You know, buying my $1 hot dogs on Thursday and stuffing my pie hole because I don't know nothing.
And don't forget, you must come out and get drunk on half-price night.
That's exactly right.
312-644-6767. What do you think? That's what we want to know what you think. Do you know anything about baseball at all? Maybe they agree with Hawk.
Well, hey, you're allowed an opinion, he said. You can have an opinion.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Yeah.
You're allowed an opinion. You, sir, are allowed an opinion. But if it's not mine, I will kill you. We're going to pull an audible at 12:05. Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. Terry Boers, Brian Hanley. And we've been talking for the last hour or so about Hawk Harrelson and DJ from last night's game. And lo and behold, Hawk Harrelson is on the phone right now. Hello, Hawk.
Hello, guys. I'm just coming home from hitting a few golf balls out at Bolingbrook, and I've been listening. Actually, had some laughs about this because this illustrates exactly what I was talking about last night.
Okay. How so?
Well, I'll tell you why. Let's just take it individually, because you got to take it individually. First of all, what I said had nothing to do with fans, or was nothing implicated to fans. What I was talking about were guys in the media, such as Boers and Bernstein and Mariotti, who know absolutely nothing about baseball, getting up there trying to tell people about the game, and then ripping people apart because that's their job as far as trying to create some story. Now, to me, Brian Hanley is one of the most solid sports guys in this town, especially about baseball. I don't know about basketball or football because I don't hear you guys do those. But, no, what I was talking about last night is, as long as I've been in this game of not knowing the game of baseball as much as it's just a beautiful thing, and nobody really understands the game of baseball. Everybody has their own thoughts and ideas, and that does not make them wrong. That's why it's such a beautiful game, because of the fact you can second guess. But then you get other guys, and certainly not the fans. I know the emails that I get, which I get a ton of them from fans. These people are so knowledgeable, it's just beautiful. And I call a lot of them, as a matter of fact, to thank them for the emails. They know the game, they understand. We've got some more sophisticated fans right now than we've ever had in the game of baseball. That's what television has done in the inundation of sports in baseball. But you get certain guys out there who get up there and try to tell our fans and the other people about what's going on, and they got no clue. And that's what I was talking about last night, not the fans.
Well, then you better specify when you start saying that, because you have to say it's the media then. And the other thing I would say is that, so guys who covered sports for 20 years and have been around athletes, but traveled with athletes, been around them for 20 years, fans who've never done any of that are still, their opinion would be more qualified than a lot of sports writers. That's what you're saying.
There's no doubt about it. What do you think?
The fans, okay.
Do you think, Terry, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Do you think all sports writers are qualified to write on the sport that they're covering?
No.
You got to be crazy.
Nope, I don't think so.
You damn right you're not.
But I also think that a vast majority of them have a pretty good understanding of what it takes to write a story, what it takes to deal with athletes, what it takes to understand the game, what it takes to deal with these guys on a day-to-day basis.
In this town who have forgotten more baseball than you will ever know.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What about the thought process of a Major League Baseball player would a common guy not understand? What is the complicated thought process of a baseball player that an ordinary Joe wouldn't understand?
Who brought the thought process that you guys have been talking about?
DJ.
That's DJ.
You don't agree with that?
Yeah, I believe in the thought process, but I'll tell you one thing. The thought process that you've been hammering on and harping on, it just goes to show your ignorance. I mean, it really does. You know, Bernstein thinks he invented the game, and you, unless there's a sexual connotation to it, don't even talk about it very much.
Well, Hawk, a couple weeks ago...
Talk about it all morning.
Hawk, this is Brian. A couple weeks ago, I was out covering the game, and I guess you went off on the media, and you didn't specify who you were talking about. I have an idea who you were talking about. And your director panned the press box, and I got 3 calls saying that Tony Giannetti, Bill Joust, and I were prominently displayed on television for a few seconds, and the average guy out there is looking at them, and hey, he must be talking about us.
No, actually, let me tell you, on the shows that I have been on,
I think he was.
That I have singled out people. I've also talked about the good ones. I've talked about North and Dougie, who are outstanding. I've talked about McNeil and those guys on the other side of the dial. They're good. You've got some real solid people here. You got Brian Hanley, who is just as solid as they come in this town about baseball. Again, I'm only limiting my.
But are these Hawk? Do you think these people are solid because they never criticize the White Sox, or how does that make them solid? How does that make them solid? Help me with this.
The White Sox. Brian didn't criticize the White Sox.
I don't know.
Sure he does. I heard you criticize it.
All right. What in particular about what I've said shows you that I have no knowledge at all of baseball? What is it in particular?
Well, because I tell you the truth, I've known you so long, Terry.
Yeah, we've known each other since you were general manager, Hawk. That's correct.
I knew you when you were a writer, and you didn't know what the hell you were talking about then, and you don't know what the hell you're talking about now. You try to make a spoof or a satire of everything.
Well, you know what? When you guys sit up there last night and talk that nonsense and then call and say, well, I wasn't really talking about the fans. If you're talking about the media, you've been doing it a long time, too. You say it's the media then. don't play the games and the the people who've been watching it 40 years.
But I've done it before, and I will do it again.
Okay.
If there are guys like you and Bernstein and Mary and who are been here a while, talking and espousing baseball, and you don't know a damn thing about it. Nothing.
Well, you're certainly entitled. And let me tell you something. But the guy, as I pointed out,
I think great in football. You might be great in basketball.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I'm great in any of them. But I have a long background in observing people and athletes and broadcasters and so forth. And what you did last night is nonsense. You're broadcasting for a team that's scrambling to get people to come out and watch the product. And if you can differentiate now and tell the people, sure you are. Sure you are. No, that's what I...
We do 1,930,000 last year. We got some of the greatest fans in the world. We had an April and a May last year that was the worst that Roger Boston said he has ever encountered. We still do almost 2 million people last year.
Okay.
We had a hell of a ball club. Kenny Williams put a hell of a ball club on that field. And the fans responded. They responded. I was so proud of them last year to draw almost 2 million under those circumstances. And we almost finished third in our own division.
Okay, but why is the payroll then where it is? There has to be some loss here, right? I mean, something here.
I don't sign the checks.
Well, but no, you don't. I know you don't sign the checks, but you're telling me if it's painting a rosy picture of everything is so great there, then the payroll should be $90 million. Then you should have a lot of players. You shouldn't be scrimping dollars. You're in the third market in the country.
You think it's easy just to put a pen down to a check? You might have a check for $90 or $100 million.
Well, no, I don't think it's easy. I wish I could do it. But I'm just saying that if everything was this rosy, Hawk, if everything was this rosy, I think if anybody takes a hard look at the White Sox, which we do on this station, you resent it. And then you go off on this tangent about they don't know anything about baseball, but fans don't. You know what? I will put my experience about being around all this for a damn long time, and I very rarely do this. But with you, I'll make an exception and do it. And to sit here and say I don't know anything about it is just preposterous. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense because we don't share the same views on what you consider, the thought process of baseball. I don't think any of these games are that difficult. You may sit there and see plays you haven't seen before. I agree with that. Every time you watch a baseball game, you might see something you've never seen before. I agree with that. But what have you seen that you didn't think of, or that this guy's going through this complicated thought process? These are baseball players. They're not Jonas effing Salk. I mean, these are baseball players. And many of whom I dealt with who couldn't schedule an airplane reservation. And your partner sitting there telling me we can't go through their thought process unless they've had a major league uniform on. Oh, my God, let's see.
Anybody who does not agree with you is a moron. And a
lot of them are.
Your favorite things.
No, it's not moron, Hawk. It's dope. I don't think they're morons. No, and I'm not calling you that. I'm not going to go that because I think your knowledge is okay. I'm just saying there was no percentage in what you did last night. None. In my world, if that's wrong, then I still don't know anything. That's fine.
I meant every word I said, and it has nothing to do with the fans. It has to do with people like a Boers and a Bernstein and a Mariotti.
Well, but you said last night, you said, Hawk, you said people who said they've been watching the game 40 years, watching Cubs and Sox 40 years, and think they know I know a little something about the game, don't know a damn thing.
Yeah, a Boers and a Bernstein and
well, say it then.
Watching these games, they don't know a damn thing. It had nothing to do with fans.
Well, okay, but I mean, if I'm a fan out there, I'm thinking he might be talking about me, the guy who's been sitting in the stands for 30 or 40 years.
Well, and if that's the case, then I was in error. That I did not explain it better.
Okay.
There's no question about that.
Fair enough.
But we have got some of the greatest. Look, I remember when Bill Gleason wrote a story back in the early '80s said that no team in Chicago, baseball team, would ever draw 2 million. Mm-hmm. And we have had 2 million drawn by both clubs on several occasions, and 3 million drawn by one again. We have got some of the greatest sports fans. Name me a better sports town than Chicago. Name me one that's better. There might be somebody that's good. I don't know. But we have got the greatest fans in sports in this city. We've got a 2-team city in baseball. They both are doing well. They both draw well. Mm-hmm. And it's going to continue that way. I know I feel that both teams are going to be doing well for a while. Right now we've got a hell of a manager in Ozzie. We got a hell of a general manager in Kenny Williams. And this team, in my opinion, is on the verge of having a sustained period of time where they're going to be playing the kind of baseball that we have been told was going to be played here for the last 4 or 5 years, and was not.
Well, I love Kenny Williams. I love the fact that he plays for each season. He doesn't care about trading prospects. He wants to win each year. That's what you want to do, and as a fan, that's what you appreciate.
Yeah, but getting back to this other issue, though, Brian, the thing is again, this is just something with me that talking about certain individuals in this town in the media who get up and the only thing they do is try to convince the viewer or the listener that they invented the game of baseball.
That's
and they
not
don't know
true,
anything
Hawk.
about it.
That's not fair criticism, and it's not true. I mean, I think if you're an observer and criticize, look, first of all,
Oh, man.
the guy you're referring to, Dan Bernstein, is a Sox fan. He's a huge Sox fan. He grew up loving his Chicago White Sox. Well, it doesn't matter. The fact is he's a Sox fan. He loves the White Sox. So, I mean, I think that anytime anybody criticizes your product in any way, you take vast offense at it. You take great offense at anything that's said. And this year, nothing's been said about the White Sox. Nothing's been said about the White Sox this year. As a matter of fact, of the few people in this town who thought they were going to win the division, I would be one of them. I mean, I think I look at everything very even-handed. If you're going to paint me as a guy who knows nothing, that's fine. You know, I'm pretty happy in my life not knowing anything. I've done okay for a guy who knows nothing. That's okay. I have no problem with that. But when you tell me all these other people know something that I don't know or know the game better than I do, that's just nonsense. That's just absolute pure crap on a stick. That's what it is. It's crap.
To you it is, Terry.
To me it is, yes.
Yeah,
it absolutely is. Well, yeah, I think to most people, Hawk. And
there are a lot of people who feel, in the media, who feel exactly the same way I do about the three names that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, and a lot don't.
It's just a personal thing between...
Right, but see, it shouldn't be a personal thing.
It has nothing to do with our fans at all. Our fans, that's it. I get emails, I get probably, I don't know how many hundred a week, and I get emails every day from people that I can't swear this, but they seem to, maybe forgotten more than you know. And I mean, it's a hard thing to say. But
have they all had major league uniforms on, or are these all former players?
You don't have to have played in the big leagues. You don't have to play in the big leagues to know the game of baseball.
That's what your partner said. That's what he said last night.
I don't think he meant it that way at all. At all. I know a lot of people. Earl Weaver, did Earl Weaver play in the big leagues?
I don't believe he did, no.
One of the greatest managers in the history of the game, never played in the big leagues. We got a lot of great baseball people out there who've never had a jockstrap on.
Tell DJ.
Never.
Well, he said Leo Mazzoni never played.
We were talking about Leo Mazzoni, good example right there.
Right.
What I'm talking to you about, we were talking about last night, has nothing to do with fans. It has everything to do with people in the media who get up and start telling people what's going on about baseball and what's right and what's wrong about it, and have no clue what they're talking about.
All right. Well, here's what I would do then. If I were you tonight,
and you were granted your opinion.
Oh, thank you. If I were you, that's what I would specify tonight, and indicate to your listeners, your viewers, that you weren't talking about them. And I want DJ, when he gets in there, to explain to me and a lot of other people who are curious, and I think others are curious, because I had like 50 emails about it right now, that what he's talking about, what we don't understand about the thought process, and we can play it for if you want to hear it, Hawk, right now. We've got it here.
I
the
know
thought process that nobody would understand unless you wore that major league uniform. I want to know what that thought process is from guys who really couldn't find an airport. I want to know what that thought process is.
They couldn't find an airport.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've dealt with baseball players. I think a lot of them are. Yeah, I do.
You do. That's one reason you don't know the game, because you think all jocks are dumb.
No, I didn't say that.
He said.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said I think a lot of them are dumb. I've dealt with them. I dealt with guys who couldn't find an airport, who didn't know how to get a plane, who didn't know where their luggage was. I think that's pretty dumb.
If they're from a different country.
No, they're from this country.
Well, you see, that's where you know more than I do, because I've never encountered an athlete like that. I've never encountered an athlete. I played with a few of them. I played on a few teams. I've been around this game a little while. I've never encountered an athlete that you could demean like that, as you say.
I'm not demeaning him. I'm just pointing out fact when you're saying the thought process of a baseball player.
No.
I don't think a baseball...
You say that they're just dumb?
No, I don't think that necessarily smarts equates in any way, shape, or form to how you play as a baseball player. If you don't have the physical ability, you could be the smartest guy in the world, you can't play. But to hint that the thought process is so complicated that unless you've done it, you couldn't understand what's going on is nonsense. You talk about crap, that's crap.
At all. I don't think he was hinting at that at all.
Oh, my God.
And for you to take what he said and run in the way you've been doing this morning is I tell you, it's almost comical. I was laughing coming in while I was listening to you.
Do we have that? Do we play it for Hawk?
Over the line a little bit with me. It's like you said, I went over the line with that thing.
You did, because you didn't leave it open to the fans.
Because I was specifying, to me, the way I was trying to explain it, were guys like you and Bernstein and Mariotti.
Okay. Well,
not the fans, just guys like yourself of that ilk. And fortunately, we got some real good ones, and this town is just like anything else. You got good baseball players, you got mediocre baseball players, and you got bad ones. You got same thing with doctors. Same thing with sports guys.
Absolutely. Every field.
Mediocre, you got bad ones.
Every field, Hawk, and that's what we're saying. I mean, I think
I'll gladly fall in the field of bad.
I can't hit a fastball. I could strike out 6 or 7 times.
That doesn't mean you don't know how the game is.
No, I think Terry knows the game. He's one of the. I'll have to disagree with you. He's one of the smartest baseball guys I know. And now you might hear differently when you're listening to him, but I'm telling you, he watches baseball every single night. He watches more than the local teams. He covered, how long were you in the newspapers, Terry?
20 years.
20 years. I mean, guys like he and Goddard and Van Dyke, who've been doing this forever, you can't help but know what you're watching after a while.
Yeah, even if I am dumb as a box of rocks, Hawk, but I do know a little something about baseball, and I don't think anybody has all the answers because we'd all be rich if all of us knew every answer about any sport.
That's the beauty of the game.
Right. That's exactly right. But the beauty of the game is not to give the idea that you know if you watch it for 40 years you still don't know anything, and specify if it's the media, that's fine. I think most fans would be happy to hear you say
they'd be on their feet cheering.
They'd be cheering you and saying, yeah, that's right. The media are a bunch of assholes.
Again, the whole point, as I said, I've got friends that they're so knowledgeable. But I had a friend of mine sitting in the booth with us last night, Mort Levy. Never had a jockstrap long, and here's a guy that knows a lot about the game of baseball, about even the nuances of the game that you would think that only by playing you could have. But that's not the case. There are a lot of people who know this game. And the funny thing about it, the demographics, you know, when I first started broadcasting back in '75, probably 3 to 4 to 5% of my fan mail, they didn't have email back in those days, were from women. Today, the emails and the fan mail, probably 30 to 40%. So the demographics are changing. People are becoming more sophisticated in the knowledge of baseball. They understand the game. There's too many other things to watch on TV if you're not a baseball fan. And the only way you're going to watch a baseball game is if you're a baseball fan. If you are, you know something about the game.
Well, here's the one thing.
It's that simple.
And one thing about baseball, Hawk, I think we all can agree on, too much is being written about stuff off the field. And it's not about the game. And the editors don't even want game stuff half the time. They want you to write stories off the field about this guy or that guy or the front office or whatever. And for me to pretend that I know the intricacies of running a team, I mean, who am I kidding? So,
well, you understand a lot of it, though. You understand a lot of it because of the fact you've been around it. And here's the thing.
Right, Hanley,
a lot of people have been around this game a long time, okay? And a lot of them don't know a damn thing about it.
Okay, but just certain ones don't know. Others absorb the knowledge. Others deflect the knowledge.
No question about it. Okay. No question about it.
Hawk, you know, we only got the long form. It's like 2 minutes, so I want you to we'll play it again. We'll let you know if you're done yelling at me. We'll let you go. But we can't really play a short form.
We're done yelling at each other.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
The thought process of the Major League Baseball player, what they go through, because if you have a uniform on, you can't understand what they're doing. Because if you're sitting 3-2, you don't know exactly what you're looking for. Me, I just kind of thought I didn't want to get hit in the head. You know, that was my thought process. That's what I was looking for. That's it. Well, see, that is a good.
If you use more common sense in your narratives, you know, it'd be okay.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to argue about my level of morondom because I think my level of morondom is pretty high.
I mean, I still listen to you and Bernstein a lot. You know, I enjoy it. You guys can be funny at times. Only when you're talking about football and basketball.
Oh man,
it sort of goes the other way.
Hawk, that sounds like a promo. Can we use that?
Don't talk about golf either.
I don't know anything about golf.
I know I'm a terrible golf.
I don't know anything about golf.
All right,
but I have a thought on golf.
I got it down. I enjoy it, guys.
All right, Hawk.
See you at the park. Thanks.
I'm a moron, and that's the bottom line.
Hawk Harrelson joining us here on Sports Radio 670 The Score.
That's fun. See, when we were in Tucson, I really wanted to see him, so he could give me a beat down or touch me, whatever he wanted to do. And he wasn't there then at that point in the week. But I saw the rest of the White Sox. We had no problems. I mended more fences than 1,000 buckaroos in 3 days. I'm a fence mender. I'm a peacemaker. I'm Henry Kissinger.
Come out to the cell tonight and sit next to Brandon Rice.
I don't think so, because you know why? Your vast storehouse of knowledge would overwhelm me. You guys would kill me. Well, you kidding me? Baseball magi? What would I do there? You need coffee, Mr. Hanley?
I'm smart enough to know that I don't know nothing.
Well, I agree. I don't know nothing either, but I know that you just be careful. That's all I'm saying as well. More than anything else, be careful.
Specify.
Specificity is good.